Welcome back to the Babes Talking Business podcast. Today we had such a special guest. We had Gabi Billing from Dashdot. Dashdot is a property investing buyers agency who have won awards all around Australia for their amazing service, and I can vouch I am one of their happy clients. So we're so excited to have her on the show today, talking about Dashdot, being a founder of obviously a company and a business, but also having a conversation that we're both really passionate about, being financial literacy and investing.
What I really loved about when we decided to have Gabi on the show was obviously I've watched Lauren's journey with purchasing her property and about to buy her second through Dashdot. And what I loved about their service when she was telling me about it was how they don't just help you find a property, they help you look at the data. They actually do all the research for you. They do the reporting for you. So they look at the area and its growth and then the expected growth to come so that then you can have a property portfolio strategy where you're continuously growing that portfolio. And I thought that is such an epic service for anyone, but particularly for people who want to get in the property space but are either nervous about that or maybe they're a little bit like, I don't know much about this, so too hard basket. I thought, wow, this is such an incredible service that I know so many people would love. And just watching you use the service has been really cool. So it's been great to have her on today and just talk about some really cool topics around financial literacy and investment.
Yeah. And I think if you've listened to us over the past, we're really passionate about freedom and wealth creation, and watching Shani build her property portfolio, it's never been my wheelhouse. So if you're a woman leaning into this being like, I want to learn a little bit more about investing in property, whether you've never bought a property before or maybe you've bought one and you're kind of getting stuck at that second or third, this will hopefully give you a little bit of insight. And if you don't have women in your circle having these conversations, we can be those women. You can come sit at our table, hear the conversations that we have. And if there's something that speaks to you, if you're looking at engaging with a service because you are part of our community, we actually have a code. You can use BTB and you can get a free discovery call with them. And if you decide to move forward, you can actually get a $1,000 discount as well.
So cool. So amazing. So, well, let's get into it. Let's get into this conversation, and we'd love to hear your feedback on what you took away from today.
And also, we're going to do a part 2. So if you love this and you're listening to this and you have questions, write them down and send them through, because then we can ask her partner on part 2 that's coming.
Awesome. Let's get into it.
Amazing. I'm so excited to have you on the Babes Talking Business podcast, Gabi. I have actually been telling Shani a little bit about Dashdot, for a year now.
For ages, yeah.
For ages. And I was like, not only are we really passionate about like creating wealth, financial literacy for women, but obviously we're passionate about business. So I was like, it would be so great to have you on the show to talk about your experience, obviously as a business owner and a founder, but then also talk about financial literacy, investing, all the things. So firstly, welcome.
Thank you. Awesome to be here.
Tell us a little bit about what Dashdot is for those who have absolutely no idea.
Sure. So Dashdot, I like to think of Dashdot as we're a portfolio growth partner. And basically that functions as a way to help people to achieve their financial goals and ultimately the lifestyle they really want, but they're not quite sure how to achieve that financially. And we do that predominantly through helping them to build property portfolios. So we help people right from the moment they think, you know what, I think I want to achieve a little bit more with my finances. Right from that point, we help them to build out a plan, get a strategy together, taking in their real situation and what that looks like in terms of building a property portfolio. And then we guide them through the whole process. We stay as a partner on the back as well. So we're constantly just monitoring the portfolios and giving them updates on how their properties are going and everything. So it's a really fulfilling business to be running because we can really see the impact that it's having on people's lives financially. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I bet. Actually, when Loz told me about Dashdot, because obviously her and her hubby are a part of Dashdot now, I was like, this is an incredible service, particularly because I know that our audience is like very female dominated, and I know a lot of women particularly feel so overwhelmed when it comes to investing and getting into the property market. And I get a lot of questions in my inbox like, how did you get started? I have no idea. It goes right over my head. Like, it's just too hard basket. Like, how did you even start, sort of thing? And I think something like this where you are holding people's hand through the process of something that can be quite daunting. Like, I remember when I started learning about property and I was like, I don't know if I'm the right person to like kind of make decisions on something so big like this. There's so many moving balls. But the service just sounds phenomenal for someone who is brand new, has no idea, and has the desire to start a property portfolio, but is literally so nervous to do it. And I know, like,
which was where we
yeah.
were. Like, I know a lot of people follow us, maybe have seen Shani's journey. Shani's got a pretty impressive portfolio both here in Australia and overseas. And
Nice.
me and my hubby bought our first property, I don't know, 10 years ago. And then we did very well. We bought it, nearly paid it off, sold it, and then have been sitting on cash ever since because I didn't know what to do. And like Shan said, it was like, it's such an overwhelming decision. Like, am I making the wrong thing? If it's, is it going to be an investment? Like, am I buying to live in it?
Well, you just don't want to lose that money. Like, you don't want to make the wrong decision.
Yeah. And yeah. So we just sat in it for ages. And then we came across Dashdot and I'm like, oh my gosh, it solves like so many of the problems because like we both are business owners. We don't have the time to be sitting there doing all the research. And you really have held our hand the whole way. We bought our first property with you guys. We're now looking for our second property with you guys. Like, it's amazing. So excited to delve into that. But how did you come across Dashdot? Like, why did you set out to start a business in this space? Were you already working in this space? Like, how did it come about?
Absolutely not. No. So it's a similar story, honestly, backstory. It was my partner Goose and I, who's my co-founder as well. We used to work in festivals and events actually back in the day. So that was how we met. That was our history.
Wow.
That was always going to be our career, was like having cool events, taking people through experiences. We both love like really great experiences for people, creating memories, those kind of things. But we realize in that particular space, it's quite unreliable in terms of finances. You know, you have up and down of revenue, and when there's event season, there's a lot of income and then there's no income. And so we're like, how are we actually going to get ahead financially as a couple? We're like, okay. And then we spoke to a couple of people and they were like, oh, property, you know, you just buy a property and I think it doubles every 5 to 7 years, right? You just buy anything. We're like, okay, that sounds great. And then we actually ended up going and buying an off-the-plan apartment. Just wandered in off the street one day because we were like, okay, we have this savings. This was 8 years ago now or something. So we had the savings. We thought, okay, you can just buy any property. Walked in off the street. This development sales guy was very happy to see us and just went, yep, sign up, buy this property. It was in Footscray. And promptly after that, we pretty much our deposit that we put into that value went down, ended up like took a couple of years to settle. But basically we lost a bunch of money on that particular purchase. And that set us on a journey to really figure out how to do this right. Because at that point in time, we had no one to turn to. There was no one in our life, particularly in that industry, but also just friends and family. No one really understood it. And this was, like I said, 8-7 years ago, and like buyer's agents weren't really a thing then. The service wasn't really a popular thing. They existed, but they were more for people looking to buy a home and they couldn't quite figure out, or they wanted to help to negotiate with an agent to secure a home for themselves. But from this investing into state, that kind of mindset, that wasn't really a thing at the time. And we realized that it's very easy to get it wrong. And so we wanted to make sure that we could learn everything that we could to try and help a couple of people. And when we started, again, we're not coming from this property background at all. So we just thought it'd be really cool if we could help like 10 people. Like, wouldn't that be cool if we could just learn enough to be able to like guide and coach a couple of people that we know, like maybe 10 people, and help set them up for their lives. And now we've just hit over 1,600 clients.
Wow.
And we've helped them to create nearly $400 million of wealth in the 6-year period of the business. So I say that I'm a little bit shocked, and
It's phenomenal.
when I see these numbers, I'm like, how have we done that? Like, that's insane. But I always come back to the impact on people's lives. That's why I talk about like the growth numbers and the wealth created through equity, because that's not our wealth. That's the wealth of everyone that we've helped to serve in this process. So it really is super fulfilling to be doing it.
Yeah, it's honestly, like I said, it's taken so much of the the stress and the time out of it for us because we didn't know where to start. We were too scared to make the decision. And like you guys you do like a sit down. We had like a goal setting process. We talk about our goals, and we've had like special experts, I guess, at each point along the journey who've like found the properties, presented the properties, done reports on the properties around the growth predicted, connected us with people to set up our finances in the back end so we can continue to buy and not get stuck at 1 or 2 or 3 properties. Like I'm, as you can hear, very, very a big advocate for Dashdot. But because you're not experts, so you had this idea of wanting to create impact. Obviously, you're passionate about that financial literacy and freedom piece. How did you then go about finding the experts and building out your team? Is it just been trial and error, or did you like have this big business plan? Like, how did it go from this seed to the impact that you now see and have in 6 years?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think as a founder, you do everything you can to learn every single piece of a business, right? So we started just trying to research everything we could about property investing again, because we were clean slate. I had gone to a couple of those property seminars when I was younger because my family dragged them along because that was a thing that you did. But other than that, not a huge amount of background or research into property itself yet. So we just got really in the weeds. My partner, who I don't know if, Lauren, if you've met him yet, but he's, I will say nerdy because he just gets very in the data. He just loves that stuff. So we went very deep on that. I'm more, I love the data as well. And I love obviously the value in terms of like being able to understand it and pick the right things to invest in. I lean more on the service side and the experience and like the process of, okay, how do we actually buy properties here? What does it look like to, create a portfolio growth plan for clients? Because that was something we created out of nothing, because we realized that it's one thing to help people buy an investment property, and we can even help them to buy a really good investment property that's in a good location that's going to see them have some strong growth over the next couple of years. But it's another thing, like you said, a lot of people get stuck at like 2, 3 properties. I think the stats are like 90% of property investors own 2 or less properties. I think that's the stat. Don't quote me on that. But it's very, very common for people to get to that point where they can't move forward. And we're like, well, how do we actually stop that from happening? Because if our mission is create lives of freedom, choice, and abundance for our clients, they're not going to be able to do that very effectively just based on 2 properties. Now, over a long enough time horizon, they will probably grow and they might be okay. But in the short term, how do we really amplify that? And so that was how we decided, we really need to figure out a way that we can plan these portfolios so that, when they get to this point, they're going to face finance constraints, and we want to make sure that we plan for that ahead of time. And so that was kind of where we started. So that started with like crazy spreadsheets, and that was like weeks and weeks and months on end sitting in our apartment just like tying all of these spreadsheets together, trying to figure out, okay, how do we create a plan here? How do we make people have more clarity in what they need to do? And that's basically how we've done everything over the course of building this business. It's like we get very deep in the weeds. Whatever the new skill is, we try and adopt it and try and learn it. And then it does get to the point as a business where you go, okay, I think this process is set up now. We built this thing. It's having impact. It's getting the results that we want. We need somebody else to run this because it can't be constrained with us, and we want to be able to serve more people. So then we go and try and hire for those people as well. But we're looking for like the culture fit, but then also the skill set and the potential to actually do that thing and that interest. Because something, again, I love about this business is because it is so high impact, we attract people to our team who really care about having impact on people's lives as well. It's not just, there's a lot of jobs out there that you just kind of do to tick a box and to get a paycheck. And I'm sure that there's some people on our team that do that. But most of the time, it's like, no, this is a really cool thing that we're able to do every day, and being able to have those conversations with clients. We're like, hey, we've done this portfolio health check on your portfolio, and like you've actually achieved like $100,000 since we last spoke in growth. And
So
like,
good.
what the hell? It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Okay, loves, very quickly, we are going to pause it here for just a second because we have something so exciting to share with you. So if we're really real here for a moment, when 𝘆𝐿𝐶ie and I first started talking about money and wealth building and asset classes and property and ways to make income openly and on social media, and we started to create episodes around this, we started to notice how many of our beautiful community members and audience were sliding into our DMs saying things like, I loved that post and that episode was so helpful. I had no idea where to even start or where to look, or I felt so behind financially, or I want multiple income streams, but I'm feeling so overwhelmed. And honestly, we really did feel like that too when we started out. So we have created something specifically for you, and we are giving it away completely free. It's our financial literacy and wealth building bundle. This is a private recording that 𝘆𝐿𝐶ie and I held exclusively for our business community, where we break down exactly how to start building multiple income streams, smart saving strategies, how to set yourself up financially, how to start saving and investing and budgeting systems that we use ourselves, different companies that we've used for investments, and as well as that, it also comes with this incredible explanation of all of the asset classes. Particularly, this is so good for those who want to get started in the investment world but have no idea where to start, and you don't want to ask the silly questions to your partner or your friends or family, or the books are overwhelming, the podcasts, the audiobooks, you're just like, we break this down in such a simple way to understand, and we're really proud of it. And because we genuinely want you to thrive, we are also including our income producing ideas guide, which comes with over 50 ways that you can start creating income today. This guide has so many different ways in different industries that you can start creating quick cash if you need money now, or we even talk about our top 3 residual income streams that we love and use to help you make money in your sleep, which is more of a long-term game. But hey, money is money, right? So you are getting the full private masterclass recording, not available anywhere but here, our proven strategies for building wealth from scratch, over 50 income producing ideas to give you the little seed to think about what you may want to do, and our top 3 residual income recommendations. And all of it is completely free. So if you've been thinking about creating an extra income on top of what you already create, or you wanted to get started in investing, or if you just want to feel more confident and in control of your financial future, learn how to start saving, learn how to pay off debt, this bundle is for you. So you can head to the show notes of this episode right now and click the link, or you can jump on over to our Instagram bio and grab it there. We'll send it to you immediately. There's no waiting, no games, no spam. It's just instant access, and you are going to absolutely love it. Make sure you let us know what you take away from it if you do decide to grab it. Okay, that's it. Let's get straight back into the episode. I was having lunch with a girlfriend and her partner a couple of weeks ago, and I actually had no idea that she was a part of Dashdot as well. It just came up in conversation while we were having lunch. And what I really loved about the situation that they're in is they've just sold a property, and they've done really well with it. But then she has felt like, okay, well, what do I do now? Like, I really want to set my family up for the future. They've got a little girl, and, they're obviously wanting to expand their family in the near future. And like she really wants to set themselves up so that they're not constantly like working forever. They really want to create a portfolio where it is positively geared and it's helping them. And eventually, eventually it will help them into that retirement phase of life. And what I loved about what she shared was, like your normal like family household usually does get stuck at that second, third property because of serviceability and debt. And most people are then looking at like second and third tier lenders to like go and try. And, sometimes they don't even get the ability to go beyond that and grow beyond that. I got really passionate then when she was saying like they've helped me with the strategy of like how we can buy beyond our second and our third. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, this is a young mom who has just had her hand held And I guess I wanted to ask you, like, what makes you so passionate about helping people invest and set their future up like that? Particularly, I know we've spoken off the mic that you really love to help women. Like, what is it about that for you that really lights you up and makes you get out of bed every morning to do what you do?
Yeah. I think like going back, if I think about helping women specifically, like I grew up with a single mum who for many, many years she had this notion of where, I'm gonna invest in property, like that's what I'm gonna do. Not high income at all, single mom, 2 kids, like doing what she can, but she was like, okay, this seems like the thing to do. She made a couple of mistakes along the way where, you do strategies where you do what you can to try and move yourself forward based on what your starting position is. And they didn't quite work out. And so that was kind of my experience growing up, was this woman who I cherished that was just trying to do her best to move her family forward. And every step she kind of took was a little bit of the wrong step.
Mm.
And it just, I don't think I've even actually spoken to her about this, but like you can see the amount of pain that happens in those situations. And if she had have taken one step right and had have gotten that first step right, it would be a completely different story. Now, I may not be sitting here and having created Dashdot and having created the amount of wealth for our clients. Perhaps maybe the story would have gone on a different timeline. But I could see that how critical just getting that step right can have on someone's life. And I think particularly with women, like investing in itself, it's such a masculine domain, and it's such a, like even our clients, the majority of the clients, I would say it's like 70-30, maybe 65-35 split of male female. Now we have a lot of couples that come through, but even in that dynamic, most of the conversations is driven by the men.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's just because there's more of an interest from the men. Perhaps women are less comfortable even showing an interest in investing. I'm not too sure, but it seems like it's not just something that women are super comfortable prioritizing in their lives yet. And so I really care about it as well, because like there's so many other things in our life that we want to be able to dedicate time to, whether that's family or just activities or lifestyle or other things. Like maybe we want to start a business, but we feel the pressure to make that be a financial success because that's what we need financially. And realizing that investing can take that money thing off the table for you. It can just like, if you just do that right, if you have the right team and you just get that, you just kind of like put your chips there, it can bring an immense sense of relief where you can do the thing you want to do. You can, obviously you need money to do a lot of the other things, but you can, the thumbs up. Did you see the thumbs up?
Zoom, damn Zoom.
Oh, God. You can do a lot of the things that you want to do. You can start that business that you wanted to start and not feel so much pressure on, okay, I have to replace the income that I had from my job from this business. And like it turns this business into this very, very stressful thing.
Mm.
And so, we talk with a lot of business owners about this, about having something else outside of business to try and build that wealth situation so that you don't have to think about it. So you can be a little less stressed on the daily basis and just focus on what you want to focus on every day. So that's, I care a lot about trying to help people see that it's a really strong option for you, not just looking at numbers of like, you're going to make a financial return. It's like, no, genuinely, you can have this thing working away in the background. And then if that's compounding over time, you can have more options in the future because you can do what you want to do with it down the line. But you need to do that first.
I was going to say, I can tell how passionate you are when you were sharing about reflecting with your mum, and it brings up emotions in me, because we always say like your voids end up leading to some of your biggest values. And I know Shannon and I have been in this space for 10 years pretty openly. Our biggest mission and drive has been empowering women with financial literacy, and if not another main source of income, but just additional sources of income so they can invest, they can save, they can diversify, they have some security blanket. And if the very least we inspire women just to have conversations about money and about investing. So we've been having this conversation for 10 years. And I think, like you said, some women just think it's overwhelming. It scares them. They don't know where to start. So I know we even have like a free wealth masterclass. So we just try to not dumb down because I don't need it to be dumbed down, but just try to put in everyday, simplified terms so women can see like the different ways you can start investing and all the different asset classes and picking one that feels good for you. Because, and as you kind of touched on, like women, we actually really need to educate ourselves in this, because like the highest demographic of homelessness in Australia is women over 55. And
who are divorced.
Because, and like, I know we share these stats pretty openly, but like obviously 1 in 2 women end up in a divorced marriage, and women take on average around 10 to 12 years from the workforce because they're bringing up kids. And because of that, they're retiring on less super. We are living longer than men and we're doing that widowed with less super. Some of us living on the government, on the pension. And then we don't have any assets or anything because we haven't been educated to do that. So I really love that we're having this conversation. I know we said we want to have maybe your partner on for a part 2. We can really deep dive into investing with property. But like I said, I think this conversation and your service in particular was a big part for me, because I was scared of property. For me, and it's what you need. It's what you know. I've had parents, same thing, have deals go wrong in property. So for me, my safety net was we just kept putting all our money into stocks and shares. And then so having someone hold my hand in property, and like I said, we sat in this money for a while. And then I was going to invest in a mortgage broker. Not mortgage, a buyer's agent, sorry. Obviously a mortgage broker, but a buyer's agent, and give them a certain amount of money to find me a property. And then when we were comparing doing that opposed to investing in Dashdot, it's like it was the same price as buying or investing in a buyer's agent to find us a property, but you not only help us find the property, you help us and hold our hand through the whole process. So yeah, I just want any women who may be listening to this, who may be overwhelmed by it, who might be putting it in the too hard basket, to know that we all start somewhere and just like lean in. I know you guys offer like complimentary discovery calls just to have a bit of a chat to see where you're at. And you have literally held our hand through the whole process. So I just want to say, like, this is just a big part of the puzzle for women who are wanting to get into investing. It doesn't have to be this hard thing. And like,
I think we also have to normalize talking about topics like this.
Yeah.
I think it's very taboo, to talk about financial literacy and money and investing. Like, it's still like a weird conversation for most people. And I think conversations like this, where it's a very fun, interesting, valuable conversation, like it just needs to become more of the norm, so that women then do feel really comfortable to be like, you know what, I am going to book that discovery call, and I am going to like own it that I don't know much, but that's okay. Like, I know I'm going to do this for myself. And I think that's what my friend did. Like, she was like, I have no idea, so I'm just going to book this call because, yeah. And I think that's like, I just think about all the families and single people around who are using a service like yours, Gabi. It's like you're helping so many people just move forward, which is really important right now, because cost of living is just getting so high, and even like what it takes for you to retire comfortably, that number is growing. And so something like this is just, I think, a really phenomenal move for so many people.
Yeah, it's a really good point about, like, it is getting harder to get ahead for people. And I think, like you said, these conversations are so important, because otherwise people just go too hard basket, I'll deal with that later. Now, we actually have a podcast called the Investor Lab that we do. We go live every Friday. It's on YouTube, so if anyone wanted to check that out as well. But we do a bit more deep dive into like what's going on in the economy, as dry as that sounds, but like why it's getting harder to get ahead, and kind of explaining that as well. Because I think, don't quote me on this, but I think Goose did some math about it being about 10% harder every single year to save up a deposit to buy a property.
Wow.
And these are the kind of things that people don't have top of mind. And so they get caught in the conditioning and the stories of, that's not my domain. Like, I'm not comfortable with numbers. I'm not comfortable with investing. I'm like, I feel overwhelmed, so I'm just going to park it for now and I'll come back to it. But if you come back a year later, prices are going to keep going up. Cost of living is probably going to get worse, and it's going to get harder. And so it's like it's another layer of why, having these conversations is important, because we don't want people to feel so overwhelmed that they don't do anything. And again, this is kind of why I like marketing, because marketing is a way for me to try and find these people out there that need guidance. It's not, I don't think about it at all as like trying to sell and come and join our service and we need to make revenue and stuff. I'm like, there's all these people out there, like you guys would know, so many people that need this kind of guidance, that are just sitting on the fence and feel really overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I see it as kind of like our job to try and find them somehow and say, hey, we can actually help you move through that and do that sooner rather than later, because we can help them at any point. But the more people we can help sooner, the quicker they'll be able to get ahead, rather than, waiting a couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully the right people can find you through this podcast by connecting them with a solution. But like you said, it's all just even like the conversation. So like being exposed, if you're not having people in your network talking about it, maybe you don't have your perspective challenged. And I don't know if you remember this, we were on the podcast probably a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, and I'd come back from Europe and I was so hell bent on buying our forever home. Like, do you remember there was this home that I wanted?
I remember this.
I was like, we're going to buy it. I want it. And having exposure to services like yours, and obviously having my husband in my ear, and having those people in your life who may be talking about investing actually challenged me on, is it smart to actually have an owner occupier, or do you want to rent vest? And just I think the cool thing about Dashdot, and just in case you're listening, this might just challenge your perspective, is sometimes the best place to invest isn't where you currently live. And maybe you can't afford a house deposit for where you currently live. So I know here on the Gold Coast, a lot of people are buying property because property on the Gold Coast is so freaking expensive. But if you have somebody or hear a conversation like this, and it might just challenge your perspective, like, why do you have to buy where you live? So the thing about Dashdot is they look Australia-wide, have this amazing report which find other investment opportunities. And that way my emotion was no longer attached to it. And I let go of the dream of buying my forever home just now. But we were able to then, get in the market and buy something for like half the value without putting any stress on ourselves, which is creating cash flow, which has created equity, which without us having to put any more money into it will create another property in 6 months' time. So just if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I'm not going to be able to get in the property, or houses around here are too expensive, like, have you thought about rent vesting? And have you thought about maybe Dashdot helping you take some of that brain work out of it, or the energy out of it for you, where they search Australia-wide. So I haven't even seen the property that I own. Like,
It's
I've
so
never,
funny.
I'm like,
That's great.
I've looked at it through like a little video from someone in your team, went and inspected it on my behalf and sent me a video, and I was like, sweet.
Sold.
Yeah. A couple of things on that. Just, I was thinking about the fact that, like 𝘆cie said, that you were feeling a little bit scared of property earlier, and then you just mentioned that your partner was in your ear. So I'm guessing that your partner was a little bit more on like, all right, I got to invest in property.
Actually, it's me who's pushing it, but he's more like, he's like diversify. He's like,
he's the smart one. He's just the one that's like,
let's not sink all this debt into something that's not an asset. It's more like,
not saying that you're not smart. You're emotional about the house. He was like level-headed about it.
Yeah, emotions will get you there. No, I was just thinking, like, because you, in that situation, you had a partner who could kind of push that forward to some degree as well. Like, you had each other. And I'm thinking through, like, there will be a lot of single women who have this inclination of, I want to move forward financially, but maybe doesn't have that partner kind of like also egging them on. So I'm not super active on socials, but if anyone actually just wants to reach out, if you're a single female and you just want to bounce that around, I'm not going to try and like push you into work with us. If you just want some guidance on like, this is my situation, how can I think about this? You're welcome to just DM me on Instagram and I can do what I can.
That's so sweet.
The other point I was going to make was this, I was thinking through the buying your home thing versus investing. And I always see this as a really strong way to actually get yourself into your home. Because I know we've had a lot of clients now that I have one top of mind, which we helped them to buy a couple of properties. They then sold a couple of properties and then ended up paying off their home. So they already owned their home, but then they paid off their home from the growth of their assets that we helped them to buy.
Wow.
And then we've had other clients that have bought properties and then they did the same thing, but were able to have that as a deposit to then buy their home as well. So it's not one or the other. It's just thinking through, the function of what I'm trying to do right now with this deposit that I've worked hard to save is to try and make my money make more money, right? And so we're thinking about it as an investment choice in a lot of times, the best investment, depending on where you live, majority of the time, the best investment is going to be probably somewhere else, not necessarily where you live. So as you said, like that rent vesting strategy of rent wherever the bloody hell you want to live. I live in Phuket. I rent in Phuket. I don't own a place here, but I rent where I want to live and my money is invested elsewhere, so that the returns are better versus if I bought something in Phuket now, it might do okay, but it won't serve the function that I want from my capital at that point. So it is something that I think people fall into at the start, particularly if they don't have that network around them and people to talk to of like, should I buy a home or not? It's a common thing. Yeah.
Actually, we were having this conversation, my partner and I were having this conversation last night because we like randomly found this reel that was like, if you want to own a $10 million property, what should your net worth be around about? And the guy was saying that it should be around 50 to 60 million. Like, and we live in like I would say the house that we rent is probably worth about 12, 15 million. And I'm like, yeah, just that's the strategy. Just live where you want to live by renting and then put your capital to work. I love that. I actually want to ask you, why Phuket? Like, tell us about Thailand and moving there. I can see the background looks beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm from Melbourne originally. So I'm from Geelong actually. And then that's where Goose and I met, and we moved up to Bondi just before the pandemic. And so there are worse places you can spend the pandemic. I'm very sure, because we lived in Bondi. But we went just through lockdowns, through that whole period. We went through a very tumultuous period with the business. Very stressful, but a lot of growth. Like we grew the business very, very quickly.
Well, property did really well, like in COVID, like around that time and afterwards.
Yeah. And so we went through that period and it grew very, very quickly, but that had a lot of implications on us personally in terms of our well-being and just chronic stress constantly. And we kind of realized that we'd forgotten at the start of the business, we'd set it out to be this fully remote thing that we could run from anywhere, because we just love to travel. We love, like I said, experiences and creating memories. And we realized that we were just in this like tiny shoebox in Bondi, because that's what you get for $1,000 a week or whatever the bloody hell it was in Bondi. And like that wasn't the lifestyle that we really wanted. We just wanted to be in other places and go and see more of the world. And so we ended up packing up everything. We ended up just like selling all of our stuff, and we ended up moving to Bali for 1.5 years. And we just wanted to see, we called it the Bali test, and to see like, could we run this thing from Bali? And we did, and we were a lot happier. And then so we went, you know what, I think we're happy not living in Australia, not constrained by the cost of living happening there. And our team are all over the country as well. So it's all very remote anyway. And then, we ended up in Phuket just because we came here for a holiday. We actually didn't come to Phuket specifically, but we came to Thailand. And it's just, I love nature and I love being outside. I love the beach. And it's just, Bali is beautiful in its own way, but it has terrible beaches in most places. And so I just wanted to be near the beach. So right now I can see the beach outside my window and like go down there every morning, and just from a lifestyle perspective, it's a lot, like I feel much more grounded here. I feel a lot less stressed being here. And for all round cost wise, it's a lot less. I haven't done a direct comparison, but you get a lot more bang for your buck, so to speak. Living in these kind of beautiful places versus kind of what we are just used to in terms of like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, those kind of things.
Yeah, I love that.
I feel like there's so many women who'd be listening to this podcast who are probably listening with like two ears. There's like one who's like, I'm really passionate about freedom and wealth creation, and I love the topic and the conversation around investing. And there's probably this other type of woman who's tuning in being like, I'm passionate about business, I'm in business, like they want to know like any advice you have for business. So I'm just curious, I'm mindful of our time, but if you reflect on the last 6 years you've had in business, obviously you had this idea, you've now got 100 staff, you're living overseas, you're working full-time next to your partner. Like, what advice, lessons would you love to share, I guess, on the last 6 years that you may feel like could serve our audience or have been pivotal to the success that you guys have experienced so far?
Yeah. Advice, I guess something I've learned and really kind of accepted in the last couple of years is just sticking to what I know to be true and stop trying to convince myself of otherwise. I think particularly in my particular industry, again, very masculine, very not necessarily just like full of men, but like it's very go, go, go. It's very striving, very goals, growth at all costs kind of mindset. And I definitely got caught in that early days. I think particularly online, even like books, it's gotten a lot better, but there's not a whole lot of content out there that's really created by business women for other business women. It's a lot of like all the business books are all written by blokes 30 years ago and all that kind of stuff. And so that was the stuff that was like filling my mind through those early years, which got us to a certain place. But then I ended up very burnt out, very depressed, very anxious. And I think part of me moving overseas as well has just been allowing myself to choose peace, I guess. And it's okay to not be constantly striving for growth or achievement or doing the next thing. And it's helpful for me to know, because I care so much about service and impact, that no matter what level we run the business at, we are still creating huge change in people's lives. There's a lot of types of businesses that you can create out there. And it's just, I remind myself of that every day when I get stressed about like, oh, this isn't working, or so-and-so is being difficult, or these kind of things that you kind of get into tears about. But I am in a much happier place knowing that I'm staying true to what I feel like is true to me, I don't have to push all the time. It's okay to have the impact that we have and not constantly be striving for more. And so I think the advice would just be like tuning into what you know to be true for you and really trying to like clear away all of the other stuff, all of the other stories that you feel like you probably picked up from somewhere along the way, and just trying to really just sit with that and own that and honor that for yourself.
So beautiful.
It's such an important message. You're preaching to the choir.
Yeah, I was going to say,
this is our convo every day.
I don't know if you've listened to our last few podcasts. I feel like we've been talking about this exact thing when obviously we've been in the business space for 10 years and we're mums, and I think we've landed in that same space. Like you have a period of an era of hustle and achievement and growth and all those things.
And it serves you
for
that season. But especially as women, there comes a time where like if you continue just grinding like that, like you miss the whole point. And if you're missing the point, then what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
So from, I guess, a woman to woman in business, but also someone who actually uses your service, I just want to let you know, because you probably don't get to hear it often from someone who's in front of you belly to belly, although there's a screen between us. But you are making some amazing impact. And hopefully in the days that you are feeling like business gets hard, we're in business, we get it. Like, to think about the impact you've made in my little family and for my 2 little girls, like that's just one of your, how many families have you said you've got now? Like clients?
1,600.
Yeah. Think about that. So
cool.
I hope that hearing that just helps you on the hard days.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But we're so honored to have you on the show. We're so excited. We'll make sure we pop in the show notes, obviously your podcast and where our community can get in contact with you. They can book in a free discovery call. I know we have a discount code for them as well in case that's something that speaks to them. And maybe we can tee up your partner to come on in part 2. We can go deep dive and talk all the numbers.
Great. Yeah, we can do that. Do an investment masterclass or something. That'd be fun.
I think that would be good, because I think like this conversation today has been phenomenal, and I think it'll open up so many people to options. But then I think beyond this episode, people will have questions.
Yeah. So maybe we can put out an actual one to our community saying, what questions do you have? And we can do like a live Q&A. So it's rather than us talking on behalf of our community, we can actually really serve them.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gabi, thank you so much.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much for jumping on today and chatting with us. Like, it's always really nice to meet like the founder behind the business. There's always so much more to the story, and you can tell that you're just really passionate about what you do. You can feel it, And just want to say thank you for doing what you do. It's amazing. It's an incredible service.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I've enjoyed this conversation. It's been really fun.
Awesome. Wait, babe, before you go, we have a little gift for you. We know talking about money and building wealth can feel so overwhelming sometimes, so we want to make it easy for you. If you head to the show notes or grab the link in our Instagram bio, you can download our free financial literacy and wealth building masterclass bundle. This is a private recording we held for our business community recently, where we break down exactly how to start building multiple income streams, smart saving strategies, and how to set yourself up financially, even if you are starting from zero. And because we love you, we are also throwing in our 50+ income producing ideas guide. Yep, you heard that right. Over 50 different ways that you can start creating an income in today's world, including both quick cash ideas and our top 3 residual income streams that can help you make money while you sleep. It's perfect if you've been thinking about starting a side hustle or creating an extra income on the side, but have no idea where to begin. Both of those are completely free, and you can head on over to the show notes or our link in bio on Instagram and click the link to download it today. P.S. Here's something that might really surprise you, that really surprised us when we realized 83% of you listening to this episode right now don't actually follow the show. And look, we totally get hitting that button seems like such a small thing, but we would love to ask you, if you took something away from today's episode or any others in the past, could you please do us a little favor and hit that subscribe or follow button on whatever platform you're listening or watching from? Because you have no idea how much that little number actually supports our channel. I know it seems super minuscule, but that follow count is genuinely the force behind the level of guests that we can bring to you on this show. It's what helps us have incredible thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and real conversations in this space. And it would mean the absolute world to us if you did that for us. So if something resonated with you today, you can hit that subscribe or follow button, and we would love you forever. And if you're feeling extra generous, you can leave us a review and tell us what you loved about today's episode. We read every single one, and honestly, they really make our day. Lastly, if you're curious about working with either Lauren or 𝘆cie, or you just want to have a chat, you can slide into our DMs over on Instagram. It is hands down the best way to reach us. You can find 𝘆cie at 𝘆cie_Peach or Lauren at 𝗲𝗲_𝗁𝗁. All the links are in the show notes, of course, and make sure you're following the show account at Babes Talking Business for all of the behind the scenes content, bonus tips, and announcements. We genuinely love hearing from you guys. So whether you have a question about today's episode or want to share your wins, or you just need some encouragement on your business journey, make sure you pop into our inbox. Seriously, you can send a message and just say hi. We are real humans on the other side, and we actually reply. So we just want to say thank you so much for being here, and we appreciate you showing up, doing the work, and investing in yourself today. So go ahead and grab those freebies, take action on what resonated with you today, and we will see you in the next episode.